Hi, guys. As you can see, it's been Valentine's Day, and these are going to be taken out of water today and hung to dry because Reg is going to use them in another project. But thanks, beautiful roses. But today's project, since it's raining outside, I was hoping to trim some of my deciduous trees and shrubs, but that's not going to happen. So what I do have, thanks to Lane Rush, he dropped off some of his Liatris seeds to me and actually brought in.
What's another name for?
Oh, and their common names are Gay Feather and Blazing Star for those. I'm aware of this plant, and I may have planted it years ago and
I
didn't have
thought we had
success
some at one
at
time.
one time. So I've been gardening 44 years, and all of you guys are either first year gardeners or 44-year gardeners or 100 years gardeners, and you don't always have success at things, but it always makes it fun to try again. So today I'm going to try starting these from his seeds, which he even brought me part of a stalk. The Liatris gets these beautiful spires, and I'll put pictures on the screen. And these have all kinds of thousands of seeds in them, which is wonderful, not only for us people who want to start things from seeds, but these plants grow from zones 3 through 9. They are beautiful. They have the large stalks, which can be cut for arrangements. They bloom from the top down, these beautiful large purple spires. The seed heads attract every pollinator out there, and the seeds are loved by small birds, particularly the goldfinches. Hummingbirds will come to them, so they'll be interested in your garden for that. They are not a fussy plant. They grow in all soils. They do like well-drained soil. If you are hard pan clay, you want to amend that soil. They don't require a lot of fertilization. You may want to throw a little compost on them at the time you do plant them, but otherwise, they suffer most from too much care. My kind of plant. I'm not a fussy gardener, so I can pretty much plant these. And once they get going, now, the one thing when you start these from seeds, I may not see a bloom. They say it may take 2 years for these to bloom unless I go to Lane's house and dig a clump, which is, he doesn't know that there's a contingency with these seeds that if nothing germinates, I'm coming to his house and dividing a clump, Lane, just letting you know that. And then I can see your garden too. Because they have little corms. You can buy them in corms, which I've not done, or as a plant. But let's try the seeds and see how well they do. The nice thing about this plant too is that the foliage stays green all season. It's a grassy-like foliage. The rabbits and deer do like them. So liquid fence is important if you have that kind of pressure around your house. They even recommend if you have a lot of rabbit pressure, which I don't have rabbit pressure.
No, no, we don't
We
have
have
rubber.
cat pressure
Yeah.
that'll dig things up. But when they're first coming through the ground, you might want to cover them up with maybe a cup or some type of covering so the rabbits don't eat all the tops off. So anyhow, when you're doing this method, the winter sow method is the first one we're going to start. And with the winter sown method, you use any kind of clear or almost clear gallon jug, like a water jug, which these are, or a milk jug. And I've already gone ahead with this first one, and you always want to put drain holes first. You want to make certain you cut it so that you have some type of hinge mechanism, because once these start to germinate and they get taller, you want to be able to open and close. This is like your little greenhouse, so you want to be able to get good ventilation on good days once they've germinated. Now, with the winter sown germination, it can take up to 45 days. We're going to be doing indoor germination on heat mat and lights, and they may germinate in 20 days. But I want to do a winter sown method because that is perfect for this type of plant that likes the cold stratification, or they can take the cold weather. They germinate by just casting their seeds on the ground. But since I didn't have them in my garden, I'm going to start them in a very similar situation in potting mix, not seed starting mix. In these containers, the soil is already moist. It's going to be put in this jug. The seeds are planted. I'm going to shut it up. No lids, because I'm going to let the snow, it may snow this weekend, snow and rain, it's raining today, will be the only water it's going to get unless we have a dry month. And you're watching Gardening on the West Fork, Zone 6 in West and West Virginia, and we get lots of moisture. And the next week looks like it's rain off and on all week with cooling temperatures. 30-degree nights, which these can handle. And even though it's February, you can still winter sow all of your things clear into March, depending on what you're sowing. I don't do vegetables, I do perennials and annuals. And so this is still a good time to do it. So I've already got one ready to go. You always want to make a mark. I have some larkspur out there already that I did earlier this winter. And I'll just show you, if you've never seen this done before, how you just go ahead. You want to make certain you have drainage holes. Use a sharp knife carefully.
Please be careful.
Yeah, please be careful.
Yeah, that knife's really sharp.
And these are...
And that's my favorite knife, too.
It's your favorite knife. I'm going to be careful. I always add a little bit of ventilation at the top. And these will be put in an area where they get sun. The other thing about the Liatris is they are surface sown, which means you don't cover them with soil. They're like snapdragons. They need light to germinate. And so these will be put on more soil. The next thing is I want to get my hinge going. So you're going to cut halfway around very carefully with a nice sharp knife. Reggie's knife, if you let him know, he'll let you borrow it. So winter sowing, I've done it and had pretty good success, particularly with my larkspur. But gardeners out there, you know.
Let me get a shot of the larkspur out there.
Okay, we'll get that when we go out there.
We're going out?
Yeah, we got to put these out there. These are going outside today.
I don't have shoes on.
You have shoes on. You made me look. So anyhow, let's get this little hinge going. Almost. There we go. Got a hinge. All right. Now we're going to pack them with soil. Put your knife away, though.
And you'll never figure out the way to do that.
Yeah, I will.
It's a little thing. Press down.
There we go. Press down. Put the knife away. We've got it marked. And I've got my pre-moistened, again, potting soil. The potting soil will hold the moisture. If you use seed starting mix, which I'm going to use for the indoor seeds, it's too lofty and it won't hold the moisture. So we want these holding moisture. So we want to just plant and drop and be gone.
What was that old TV commercial? Fix it and forget it, or
fix it and forget it. It's like chop and drop.
Chop and drop. Yeah, you just
Lane gets that.
Put it in there.
Yeah. So anyhow, let me show you. When I talk about pre-moistened soil, you want it to be able to clump. You don't want moisture running out of it. So this is pre-moistened potting mix. And I'm going to fill this up. And then I'm going to plant a lot of seeds. I also read with the Liatris that you can plant a lot of seeds because they come up like little grass. And maybe that was the problem with the first time I had them. I thought it was
weed or grass.
It out.
Yeah.
That was, after I've been gardening, flower and vegetable gardening, for about 40, how many years? 47, 50 years.
How old are you, girl?
Oh, just do the math.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so we're going to put the soil in there. And let me go ahead and get the other one soiled up. So then we can just plant the seeds. And what a fun thing to do. Lane, thank you. No, you're not supposed to thank your friends when they give you plants or seeds. Now I'm cursed. I have holy water from Lourdes. Should I throw some of that on there? What saint for planting seeds? There's always one. All right.
You mean there's a saint for planting seeds? Oh, I'm sure there's a garden saint.
There is, but there's
we're very specific
in our faith.
Yeah.
All of those martyrs died for some reason besides God. All right. So I've got the soil in here. I'm going to tamp it down. And then I'm going to put a lot of seeds on top of my soil. I'll probably do a little bit of everything. I'll probably stick some. Okay. I'm assuming that these are seeds. They look like seeds.
I've never done anything like this. I couldn't tell you.
I think the worst that can happen is we get them all to germinate or we get none. See, these look like seeds. When you look, if you get close here, see those?
No, let me see. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So those are seeds.
So you got a little chaff.
You got a little bit of everything. So I'm going to this is what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to sprinkle all of this. Oh, it looks better on the soil too. because I also read that if they come up 2 and 3 and 4 at a time, that's even better, because then you can plant all that together and you have a nice little clump that will, eventually develop their corms, and is more, in this case, I think more is better than less. And so we're going to plant those on there. I'm going to put them just on top of the soil, pack them. You want to make certain that the seed makes contact with the soil.
But you don't want to cover the soil. Cover the seed.
From what I read, you don't want to cover the seed because they like to be surface sown. They need light to germinate. So I am, and this is how I saw people do it. One person just put 1 or 2 seeds, but they might be more experienced. They were doing inside seeds. So I'm going to do that. And I'll put some in the other one. What I'll do is I'll do that. Let me get and wet them down. Use your little spray bottle. Now, if we have a dry season, you'll want to, once we seal this up, wet that real good against the soil. And then you're going to get some duct tape, which I've already have. Take this off the counter. Okay, then what they recommend to seal your pots off with are duct tape. And I've gone ahead. You want to seal this off.
All right.
Just like that. And so then if you have a dry season, you don't want to open this up. You just want to spray inside. Because if you use a hose or anything like a watering can, you don't want to disturb your seeds.
The soil.
Yeah. I'll finish this one off camera. Let's go on to my second trial I'm going to do today is planting them in these little 1.5 inch pots. But this is my seed starting mix. These will be put downstairs on a heat mat with lights, covered in plastic wrap as a moisture barrier. And the same thing with your seed starting mix. You want it moistened, but not water dripping out. So I'm going to plant all these in here. And I'm going to plant several seeds per cup with this too. So Lane, I'm giving it a good try. And it's so exciting to see anything grow from a seed, particularly in February. But like these, we may see germination on the inside, the indoor seeding mix, in 20 days, whereas 45 with the winter sow mix. And it just depends on how much time you want to devote. My downstairs area isn't a very real big seed starting spot, but I don't start a lot of seeds. I have had success. If you've been watching along with Gardening on the West Fork, my geraniums are looking pretty good.
Don't jinx yourself.
I don't want to jinx myself.
We're knock wood or something.
No. Hey, guys, if you want to learn how to start seeds, go to Erin at Floret Flowers. She has a free 3-series learn to sow seeds off of her website. And I just went through them. And it's so good, so wonderful. And if you've never watched Erin at Floret, she doesn't have a YouTube channel, but she is on Instagram, and she was on Magnolia channel, and she's going to have another season starting, I think it's in March. I'm not being paid for this, but she's wonderful, and I've learned so much through her. Her free series are amazing. Okay, so I've got this packed in. I'm going to do the same thing with the, in fact, I'm going to wet this soil here before I do it, and then do it again, so that my seeds really stick.
Well, they stick, yeah.
So they'll stick. And, all right, Lane. I mean, if anyone needs any Liatris seeds, come by. I don't know how to do this, but how many I'm going to put. 3 or 4. Let's get good contact. This is so much fun. This morning on the West Fork, that looks like we were under flood warnings,
The West Fork is up.
is up. So I'm sprinkling these, and I will not thin these out. They said they don't, you don't want to thin them out. And I will not transplant these out. These little cups, they will go from their cups into the soil. You can direct sow these.
You mean just throwing them on the ground?
You could, yeah. I didn't have any ground prepared. But if you think about it, this is what they're doing out in nature. They're just throwing their seeds.
A lot of seeds.
And I bet, Lane, you just take the seed head and just sprinkle it around your garden to have it keep coming up. Like I do with my foxgloves. I do the same thing with my foxgloves. And I noticed those down in the garden when I did the February walk, those around the irises that I still haven't moved from their spot, where they just germinated when you throw seeds out like that. So once I have these, I think it'll be great. The other thing with these, they like to be on a slope. Mine are going to go on the 2 terraced areas. I want to have 3 clumps each to have those big purple spires coming up on that terraced area. It'd be beautiful. So anyhow, here we go. I've got several in there, and I'm going to wet these down again. And I know it's going to be successful. We'll just see in 20 days and 45 days. Patience is my virtue, isn't it, Red?
No, you have absolutely no patience. But it's nice to think you do, though.
I know. Yeah.
I have more patience than
Yeah, you do. I mean, you look what you do for a living. You do dits and dots. And so if you don't have a dome, this is all about moisture barrier. And again, these are going to be on heat mats until they germinate. Once they germinate, they come off the mats and the dome comes off and they're under lights until it's time to take them out. The only thing about doing seeds indoors, they have to go through a hardening off phase. These guys will be hardened off. They can go straight from their jugs when it's time into the ground. So, choose your
poison.
Choose your poison. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to take these downstairs under the mats and then those outside to be winterized. Okay, guys. So here they are. They're right next to the larkspur. I see no germination with them yet, but the Liatris will stay right here out in the open. They'll get moist. They'll stay cold, and you just leave them out here. The only thing you need to check on is if you have a dry spell, and I don't see that happening for a while. So there you have it. 45 days, whatever that is, after today's the 17th. Do the math. Tell me March sometime. Hopefully we'll see some seeds and get them out in the ground maybe by May. This is fun though. Before I take you inside, we've got some early daylilies ready, and not daylilies, daffodils. And I don't know if I'll see many blooms on the hellebores, but hey, it's their first year. So let's go inside and I'll show you where I'm putting the indoor seeds starting for the Liatris. Oh, you're following. We get to go through Reggie's studio. Guess what this, guess what that's going to be.
It's going to be a lampshade made out of paper clips.
I felt like, what was that person on, with all the hair? Never mind. Let me turn the light on. Look what else Reggie's done in the last. This is going away. That's going away. Look at this cool lampshade.
Made out of paper.
Made out of paper. He is one busy beaver. But over here, I have my light set up, heat mat, and I think that's on. If it's not, it needs to be plugged in. It's plugged in. I have a fan going. It's probably why it feels cold. I may tuck those in for the day. But I have my I'll tell you, these are looking great, guys. My geraniums, I don't want to say much, but I might need to water them. I will. Anyhow, this is where they'll stay, and I'll keep you posted once I see some germination. I'll tuck them in. So thanks for watching Garden on the West Fork. If you can't go outside, think about starting some seeds. If you need some, give me a call. I have plenty to share. Thanks for watching. Bye.